Before I went to the break, told y'all I was going to speak on the Ayanna Jackson situation. If you don't know, Ayanna Jackson is the accuser in the Tupac Shakur case back in '95, where he was accused of sexual assault and eventually convicted of sexual assault. Basically, forcibly touching the buttocks was the charge that he was convicted of, yes. Forcibly touching
the buttocks.
The buttocks.
Oh, okay.
He was charged with sodomy and rape and cleared of those charges, but he was convicted of forcibly touching the buttocks of the accuser, Ayanna Jackson.
Oh, I'm confused. Like, how do you forcibly touch somebody's butt?
Well, I mean, that's what a lot of people have, an issue with. They had an issue with then. Obviously, he had an issue with it. He was eventually released on bail in October of 1995 after about 7.5 months. And that case never really was solved, obviously, because he was murdered a year later, less than a year later. But with anything Tupac related, it has been, a hot button issue for many years, and now it's at its zenith, so to speak, because she did she did an interview with DJ Vlad from Vlad TV, and I guess basically giving her side of the story. A lot of people picking apart the interview, saying she's clearly being less than honest, some holes in her story.
Yeah.
It's, the whole situation is kind of weird because, the guy that introduced her to Tupac just disappeared. He was involved in a rape case as well. He just disappeared. Nobody knows where he's at. Just vanished.
Interesting.
Very interesting. Another gentleman known as Haitian Jack. His case was separated. They said it was separated because it was some guns in the hotel room. Ironically, those guns were the guns that that belonged to Big. He had came by the hotel room earlier that week as well and left some guns in Pac's room. The guns that they found, they weren't Pac's guns.
Wow.
Right. Story has many layers to it.
Never heard that one.
Story has many layers to it. But Ayanna Jackson decided to speak her mind and say how she felt about the whole situation. I think Vlad did a great job in his questions. If you haven't got a chance to listen to the interview, please do so when you get a chance, if it matters to you. I'm merely speaking on the situation because a lot of people felt like, why now? After all of these years, why is she talking about it now? And they also questioned Vlad's motives for giving her the platform. Me personally, I felt like, would you question CBS or CNN?
That's what I was thinking. Like, okay, so anybody has the right to be interviewed from a journalist because a story is a story.
Exactly.
And no one ever heard from her after it happened anyway. So that was on most people's minds. And naturally, people do want to know.
Nobody knew what she looked like.
Yeah.
Nobody knew. She was just this mystery.
And maybe it was healing for her in some sort. Maybe if she sits down and look at it. I didn't look at the whole video because when I saw it, I was just like, I don't know. Me personally, I don't want to say I didn't care, but I really didn't care. You know what I mean? It was like 20 years ago, however long ago it was. So it really didn't matter to me.
Yeah, 20 plus years.
To know what the details was because, of course, Pac is gone. She's living her life. It's not like it's a pending case or anything like that. So for me, I didn't feel like watching the whole thing. But just from what I saw, I kind of felt a little, I don't want to say bad for her. It was just like, wow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You never know what really took place. You know what I mean? Unless you was the people that was there. Including her.
Yeah. I think the Michelet joint had a little bit more substance because she was an actual artist that was working And I think even though I didn't really care, I kind of cared just a little bit from someone who was sitting in on a studio session or riding around in a car. But with this chick, it was just like, was there ever a real reason why she never came forward? Like, and spoke on this? Like, you know,
I mean, during
silent.
the trial, she was sequestered for obvious reason.
Okay.
You know, she claimed there was some threats on her life, and then, of course, the prosecutors wanted to keep her, you know, I guess out of harm's way and, you know, away from the media. So she was also very young at the time, 18, 19 years old. So I'm sure that had something to do with it. And, you know, it's going to come out later, and I'm not at liberty to really speak on what she went through post this trial, but she went through it. You know what I mean? It wasn't like it was a walk in the park for her after this trial. It wasn't like she just rode off into the sunset and was able, you know, and lived a carefree life. You know, she made some decisions and some choices that ended up getting her in a situation where, you know, she went through it basically. For sure. And that'll come out later. But my opinion on the situation was Vlad absolutely, you know, in my opinion, had the right to do the interview. Vlad has a knack for getting interviews that a lot of people can't get. He has a knack for getting people to talk about things that most people don't talk about. And say what you want about him, he is the person in hip-hop right now that are getting these type of interviews done when most people can't. He is the first person to actually get her to do an on-camera interview in 20 plus years. Wow. So on that alone, he deserves props for me on that, because, you know, it's a knack to getting people to come up and talk about personal issues and things like that. It is not it's not an easy task to get that done. And for him to do that, you know, and I think she has the right, whether we agree with her or not, she has the right to tell her story.
Right, and why are people so upset about her telling her story? Like, I think a lot of Pac's fans hold him in such high regards, as you should, you know what I mean? But there's always two sides to a story. I'm not saying that he did anything to her. I'm not saying that he's guilty of anything. But
Put the microphone to you.
I'm not saying that he's guilty, you know, because I wasn't there. You know what I mean? I wasn't there when it happened or whatever took place. But I just think sometimes people are just so quick to be like, oh, she ain't shit, she a liar. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't think that it's, you know what I mean? When a woman says something happened to her in that manner, you know what I mean? Even though he didn't rape her, I know he didn't actually physically rape her. You know what I mean? For whatever her reasons was at the time, we just may never really truly know. You know what I'm saying? And everybody plays a responsible part in anything that happens to us in life. That's just me personally. You know what I mean? So I just, you know, she has the right to tell her story. Vlad has the right to interview her. And the Pac fans has the right to be mad. I guess everybody got the right to be wherever the right they are.
It's actually three sides to a story. It's, you know, yours, mine, and the truth. And somewhere in the middle of all of these different stories lies the truth. You know, and we may never know exactly what happened. I never felt like I had to speak for Tupac or I had to defend Tupac, because he spoke very candidly about this situation when he was alive 20 plus years ago. So I never felt like I had to come out and say, well, my nigga ain't raped that, you know what I mean? Woo, 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 my nigga ain't do that shit, because he said that already. You know what I mean? He was very clear about where he stood on it.
And I guess me as a woman, like if I slept with Tupac and then he leaves me in a room and then go in another room and go to sleep, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying, like, that just comes off like...
I mean, you make choices, you know what I'm saying? Everybody made a choice that day. You know what I'm saying? Everybody made a choice that day. So regardless of, you know, how you felt about it, how you know, whether she was with it or she wasn't with it, whatever the case may be, you made a choice. You know what I'm saying? And maybe the choice didn't come out the way you thought it was gonna come out. And so maybe that's the reason why you felt like you wanted to go and make somebody pay for the pain that you felt. But everybody's pain is self-inflicted. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what it is, there are no victims in this world. So she's not a victim. Tupac's not a victim. You know what I mean? These were grown people, although they were young, these were grown people that all made choices that day. And, you know, you got to live with your choices. So I think the real message out here for everybody listening in the hip-hop community is to be very careful about the choices that you make. You know what I mean? And then when you make those choices, be able to handle the ramifications and the consequences that come from those choices that you make.
Yeah, and if you're going to sleep with a woman, either you make sure she take her ass home. I'm just being real. You know what I'm saying? Or you keep your eyes on her at all times. That's just me personally. Because if I'm a woman and I go sleep with a man in the hotel room and you get up out that fucking room and the next minute I know I wake up and then this nigga's raping me, I'm going to think some shit went down too on your end because you basically, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like you fucked me and then you just left me there.
Left me on God.
That's just how, I'm just saying, that's just how it looks. So if you going to mess with a woman, and ladies, if he gonna get up and leave you laying there, then you take your ass home.
And then go all the way to the beginning. You know what I'm saying? If you meet a gentleman and you know, for whatever reason you feeling him so much and you feel like you wanna, you know, pleasure him on the dance floor in the middle of a club, you know, don't be mad when he look at you a certain kind of way because you handled yourself in a way that leaves that door open.
Yeah, but she don't leave the door. To me, I don't care what a woman do. If I want to suck your dick on a dance floor, if I want to jerk you off, if I want to give you some in the bathroom, it still does not give a person the right to still use, not saying that he did, I'm not saying him in general, Tupac in general. I'm just saying just overall, it does not give you the right to just discard me or treat me like I'm garbage because you didn't say nothing when I was sucking your dick on a dance floor. You didn't say, no, hold up, this is disgraceful. This is not right.
Not at all.
You know what I'm saying?
Not
like, come on, let's
most men,
nah. But then you want to turn around and then act like I'm just the worst person in the world, but nah.
And allegedly, he left her in a room with you know, the gentleman. You know, his version of it was that they did what they did and he went to sleep. And he don't know what happened after that. You know what I'm saying? Because he was asleep. And me knowing him personally, when I seen him being brought out the hotel and I looked at his face, I knew he had just woke up because you know somebody that when you personal with people, you know how they look when they just woke up. And I knew he had just woke up. Yeah. So he always maintained, we did what we did and I went to sleep.
And it's just probably like another thing too.
And that was that.
It's learning about who's around. You know what I mean? I just think certain things, even if a woman is low down dirty, even if she want to sleep with 50,000 men, however she choose to do it. I just think that when it's a moment when you're doing that, especially if you are a celebrity, especially these day and age with this Me Too shit and everybody claiming this and everybody claiming that, don't be having a whole bunch of your boys around. You know what I mean? If she's the only female there and you bring and she come with you or however it happens, you got to make sure that, to me.
Yeah, I mean, because she actually was clear about who raped her. Yeah. That's the irony of it. She never said Tupac raped her. Yeah. What she said was that she was dealing with Tupac and some other gentleman came
so
in
her
room.
mind, it looks suspicious because if you sleeping with me and then you go in the other room and you go to sleep, and I'm left there, to most women, to me as a woman, I'm going to feel like you set me up. You know what I'm saying? You did this on, even though he didn't. I'm not saying that he did. But then look at the company that was around. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
The fact that I say he plays a small responsible part because you left her. You had sex with her and you left her in that position, knowing that there were other men in there, not even caring to know if something is going to happen to this girl based on the man that's around. To me, so that's the only part I would say, in my personal honest opinion, that Tupac is responsible for. And a lot of men, if Jesus, whoever it is, you responsible for making sure that you make sure she take her ass the fuck home, that you see her walk out that door, go into that cab, get in her car, whatever the case may be, so that when you decide to close your eyes, ain't nothing on you. You could sleep with a good conscience. I think that's where the mistake went wrong. But
she was administered a rape kit, and the rape kit came back negative, that she wasn't raped.
Oh, but how long ago was it that she took
this was during...
Oh, because she called.
Yeah. Whenever somebody accuses of rape or say they was raped, they make you take a rape kit. Yeah.
So is the rape kit based on evidence of semen in the vagina, or are they able to tell that there was some rough intercourse that took place? Like, how is the rape? I'm just saying, not saying that.
I think they
not
test
on
all
his
of
part.
that. I think they test all of that. They look for semen. They look for if it was a forced entry vaginally, anally, through the mouth. They test all of that.
So she probably was a willing participant, didn't like how things went down, and she probably got mad.
Is a lie detector test part of that as well?
Well, no, she never took a lie detector test. And it's funny you brought that up because the Maury Show reached out via Twitter and said
she could take a lie detector.
They would give her a lie detector
Maury
test.
was definitely about to shut it down with that.
That
one.
Maury shit.
When it comes to was you raped by Tupac?
The lie detector detected that was a lie.
Oh shit!
That was a lie.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
That's
there it is, and there it was as far as the Ayanna Jackson situation.
Good luck to her still. You know what I mean?
And that's great advice for anybody trying to keep the odds in your favor. Listen to what Dave was saying over here. That's great advice.
Man, take your ass home. A nigga gonna leave me in the bed. Excuse you.
Get him straight with the quagmire.
Right, like I'm going home. Like,
She's like,
this is letting
she
me
was
know
like, was
this
it
is
as good
what
as
it
it was
is.
for you as it was for me? He was like,
Right.
I got a question. Why are you still here?
Right. And women know, like women, let's be real. You know when a man is really feeling you like that. Come on, you know what I mean? And if you put yourself in that position, I don't want to call it buyer's remorse, but I want some dick, but then
Like
I got the dick.
like old girl did the
dick
Indian
remorse.
dude.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Like
come on.
like she did the old girl who did the Indian dude, the actor. I forget his name.
Right.
But that was definitely a buyer's remorse situation.
That was like a dick remorse. Like you got dick remorse. You know what I mean? It wasn't what you thought it was gonna be. He not asking you out on the next date, so now you feeling some kind of a way.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, nah, be a grown woman and accept whatever comes with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, karma is real, man. So like I said, her story, it doesn't end there.
Does the USA joint touch on it at all? Or it just focuses on just the straight?
Well, the Vlad interview just focuses on the case and the trial. But you know, some more information that's gonna come out.
No, I'm talking about the USA series, the 20 years.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I'm not involved with that production at all.
Okay.
Shout out to Dom Santana.
Yeah.
Who's playing Suge Knight again. We had him on the show. He spoke about that. He spoke about his role in the show. But other than that, I'm not really abreast about
It
what
just
the
seems like it's a
USA.
whole lot of stuff coming out every other month.
It's overkill at this point.
Right.
In my opinion, it's overkill at this point. I think, you know, Pac needs a break. You know what I mean? I want to start a give Pac a break challenge. You know what I mean?
But then
for everybody.
he wouldn't be like you say, you know what I mean? You gotta take it all. You know what I mean? Like he's a legend. Like people
I get it. I just mean for me personally.
Yeah, because you know,
what I mean? I
because
understand
you knew
the desire.
him personally.
I understand the desire, but just like if the shoe was on the other foot and this was you, I would want to give Diva Pink a break at this point.
Well, I'm
if
still
it was
here,
Don
so
Juan,
I
would want to give Don Juan a break. I wouldn't want that for any of my friends because I feel like it's overkill at this point, and I feel like a lot of people. Not a lot of people, but certain people who speak on it are not speaking on it from a genuine place. It's just a way to get attention for themselves and for them to stay relevant. Yeah. You know what I mean? And
I think to you it's overkill because you've probably had to talk about it for so many years, even though there was a huge gap that people didn't talk about it. So naturally, they're gonna go back.
It was never a break. It was never a break.
No, that's what I'm saying. In
the past 20 years, Tupac hasn't had a year where his name was dormant.
No, I'm saying as far as where it's been. I mean, he's been somewhat dormant. And there wasn't a movie about him. There wasn't no you know what I mean?
It was always an album. It was always a documentary. It was always something for the past 20 years. You can go back and look through it. Pretty much every year since he's passed.
Yeah, I remember Resurrection. I remember all that stuff was going on.
All of that. You know what I mean? It was, for the first 10, 15 years, it was all albums. You know what I mean? And then Resurrection, and then now for the past 5 years, it's been whatever it's been.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What year did you and Pac meet?
I don't remember that year. It was a long time ago. We were kids.
80s?
70s. 70s.
Yeah.
Probably. He knew me before I knew him because he was older.
Right.
But like I said, that's what it is on that situation. I won't be speaking on that no more.